This episode is sponsored by Vision Motorsports, the next generation international professional racing team and driver performance program. Save 5% off your next order at vision.racing when you use code SUB611 at checkout. As always, you'll be supporting the podcast, so thank you.
That's one of the reasons that we named it Vision. Is with vision in driving, you have to be able to look all the way down the road or around the turn before you get to the turn, right? So we as a team, we're already looking around the turn. Even though we're on the straightaway, we're looking over here, and where this thing can go, right? And we just ironically just happened to begin this journey when motorsport is on its way up.
So how did you get into Porsches?
1988. And actually, this is a funny story. Well, kind of funny, but then not. So my dad passed away about 5 months ago from cancer and other complications, but he just passed away. So I was tasked with pulling together some of his financial paperwork, like life insurance, for example. So I went into his office in his house, in his file cabinet, looking for some financial papers. Well, my dad kept everything that I did, or my sister did, or brothers did, everything. And in one of those files, what I found is in 1988, we used to have something called shop class. They don't do this anymore. But in shop class, this is where they actually taught people to work, or kids to work with their hands. So you would build barns or work on engines, or you would do all type of stuff at school with the understanding that these may be tools that you need, or even work with tools, but these may be tools that you'll need when you get older. So anyway, one of the assignments that we had, for whatever reason, was to research something mechanical. And for me, in 1988, what I chose to research was a Porsche 911. I'm not necessarily sure where that came from, why Porsche, because that was before, because there were no Porsches in my neighborhood, right? I don't think I had ever really even seen one in real life. Maybe on TV, like on Magnum PI or.
But you wanted to do something Porsche.
But I wanted to do something Porsche, so I researched Porsche, and this is before computers. No, yeah, but this is.
You'd use those archaic things called books and magazines,
encyclopedias, magazines, paper.
Oh shoot, man!
Yeah,
you're making me nervous.
Absolutely. And it was, but it was a labor of love, and we also had to make a clay model, or make a model. So I decided to make mine out of clay. So my dad and I actually worked on a clay model, and at that time, I had a 15, 20-page report typed on a typewriter that I had to type with pasted on pictures of 911s, street 911s, cup cars, which were for racing, and even broke down the internals of the 911. Okay, and this is in 1988. Well, my dad saved the report. So as I was looking for his financial information, I found this yellow report that was barely holding on to itself, stapled together, that he had saved from a report I did in 1988. So it goes way back. The love for that car goes way back. I just can't really nail where the genesis of it came from, but it's been in my heart for a long time. Again, probably because I just wanted to go fast. Now, and then this is kind of switching subjects a little bit, but it now has manifested itself where 40 years later, not only do I own a couple of Porsches, but also am a team principal for a professional Porsche race team. First and only team that is owned by an African-American and driven by an African-American. Our driver's name is Jordan Wallace. And he has driven Porsches for 5 or 6 years, both in Europe. And last year we did the 2024 Porsche Carrera Cup, and we competed at a very high level there as well. So I went from just some kid sitting on a swing set to eventually we made history last year. So Porsche is deep in my blood, in my heart. It's a passion. And really my goal, or our goal as a team, is to introduce motorsports through Porsche and through simulators, and we can talk about that stuff later. I know that kids love cars. Kids love
Zoom.
and however it's introduced, and if it brings mathematics along with them and entry into the sport, which is a multi-billion-dollar a year sport and actually is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Kind of ironic. Fastest growing sport is also racing.
That is absolutely correct. Then hence what's behind you and behind me and to the left and right, and we can talk about that. But that's where it came from.
Where do you want to go with Vision Racing? How do you want to drive it?
My goal for Vision Motorsports is I can see my vision is for us to be a brand that rivals, pretty much any other brand in motorsport. Selfishly, I'd love it to be in Porsches, but we're bigger than that, and it's going to expand, to NASCAR, sports cars, LMP cars. We're bigger than that. Our responsibility is bigger than that.
So what goes on behind the scenes? What makes it? What makes it going from another company to something that's going to be the best?
There's another saying by a poet. His name is Gautier, and you may have heard me say this before in the past, maybe not. I don't know, but anyway, in one of his poems, it says, "At the moment of commitment, the universe conspires towards your success." I'm committed to Vision. I'm committed for what it can do for this planet.
Yeah.
Not just in racing, but just in the ripple effects it can do for generations of individuals that have no idea what's available to them through the sport, through motorsport, or even the lessons learned through motorsports, which is STEM, learning how to do algebra, or had the ability to change a tire, or the ability to do a marketing plan or business plan, or look at the weather and analyze what the weather is going to do on a certain day. All these little skills the ripple effects from that for, quite frankly, for kids that go through the program.
Is that purely online or is that in person?
Both. So it was online. A lot of it's done through simulators. But then at the same time, we have the ability to matriculate a kid or group of kids through the program where eventually they're on track in real cars, racing for real titles. And then one day, perhaps, they can go to the for-profit side, which is where we're racing for money, or they're getting paid for changing tires, or being part of a pit crew, or being part of the marketing team, or being a team principal.
I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask everyone. Where do you want to be in 10 years? And what would you have said to you, in your case, 30 years ago?
10 years from now, every day, I'm almost there now, where every day work is not work. So I'm passionate and having fun and enjoying every moment of the day with purpose when I wake up. And I'm kind of there now. Sure, it has its challenges. Things are really frustrating, can be really frustrating today. And that pisses me off because, in a way it's like, man, I wish things were smoother. But I know God's building me and the people around me for something bigger and better. And iron sharpens iron. So we got to have some friction so that way down the line in 10 years, we're as sharp as we can be. Because, what I just described with vision, that's a big ask. And I need to have, and the people around me, my team around me, my family, we got to be sharp. So we got to go through this pain in order to be the best that we can be in 10 years. So I believe that, and I'm comfortable with that.
And it's a commitment.
It is a commitment because, the rule for me is at the moment of commitment, universe, and some you can swap out universe for God. I'm easily would do that. Is that, and there's another saying or verse that says, that God will grant you the desires of your heart. With that said, as long as those desires align with what he wants you to do or needs you to do. So I'm praying and hoping that that's what we're doing, right? That's what I'm doing through my financial service business, through Karambit, through Vision, and whatever other crazy stuff that I'm doing out here. That would be another whole podcast.
What would you have said? What would you say if you're what, 50?
I'll be 52 next month.
If you were 22, if your 22-year-old self was sitting right next to you, what would you say to him?
Boy, that's a good question. I wish I had, because I have 3 sons that are probably around your age, or maybe a little older, and an 8-year-old. And I wish I had my 5 tenets of decision making at their age and commit to it. Because I think that would change. Fast forward, imagine, at least for me, imagine having a few decades of that check down. That's what when I talk to my guys, I talk to them about the check down. Did you go through the Simkins check down with every decision that you made? Did you go through it? So for me, if I had that tool then, and also had a relationship with God too, because I didn't have much of a relationship then. Unless I needed something. But that's not when you develop a relationship, when you just need something, right? But if I had the 5 tenets of decision making at age 22, that I think that would have been really powerful for the 22-year-old Will.
If you were to just talk to him, other than like the 5, what would you say? Like just words of encouragement or words of wisdom, apart from the framework that you have.
Man, what would I say to that guy? I'm kind of the same person. I'm the same. It's pretty neat. That question causes me to reflect backwards. I don't know if I would have him change anything. I would have him put more thought into it, though, which then could have changed some of the decisions he would have made in the moment. But I wouldn't change what he did or the fire. But it would have been really good if he had a little bit more information. because the core of the 22-year-old Will, I think, is still alive and kicking right now in the 52-year-old Will. But it'd have been nice if he had a little bit more data. Things that I wish my dad had taught me, and he taught me a lot. I mean, he was my hero, one, and my biggest mentor. He taught me a lot, but there was a lot that he missed too.
Yeah. What were some of the things he missed?
To develop a relationship with God. That's number one. Number two would be, well, you know what, man? Be honest with you.
Just that one?
Just that one. Because he taught me the other 4 checkdowns. I mean, he really did. He taught me those other 4. Look, man, let me tell you. When I was 11, 12 years old, if I wanted a bicycle, it's like, Dad, I want a bike for my birthday. I want a bike just in general. I wanted like a BMX bike. He's like, okay. You want a BMX bike? This is what I need you to do. I need you to write me a proposal. I need you to write me a business plan. This is 11 years old. Write me a business plan, and I need you to come and present it to me. In other words, what bike? How you going to earn the money? What you need me to do to help you with that? How long is it going to take? I mean, all of the aspects of a proposal or business plan, he asked me to do and present it and execute it. So he taught me that at a really, really young age.
It's similar to, I don't know if this applies to what you were saying, that the life you currently live is the reality that you earned.
I would agree with that.
Is that something your father instilled in you by having that? You have to earn it and not just get it.
Oh, 100%. Oh, there was many times where he drilled that lesson in. I didn't like it. It sucked. But those are your best lessons, as well. So he did a pretty good job, I guess.
I think so. I mean, I don't know everything about you, but just based on this one conversation, I think you did pretty well.
Yeah. So it's
no one's perfect, but then again, who am I to judge?
Exactly. I don't think none of us. I mean, like I said, the only place we have for judgment is when we're looking at ourselves in the mirror. You can judge that guy as much as you want, but also got to give him grace too. Don't beat him up too bad, because he has to come back the next day and fight or climb.
Yeah, just like you did
every day. So grace is the key, man. Is you bust your butt hard as you can, and then win, lose, got to give one grace. Can't get too high, can't get too low. Got to stay right there in the middle.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
It's good stuff, man.
This is beautiful. Just like you. Wonderful guy.
Whatever. Hey, man, this was good. You're very talented, my friend.
It's only going to get better from here.